Once upon a time, there was a Peanuts cartoon, and Charlie Brown was the manager of the baseball team. And all of a sudden, he was standing on the mound in the Peanuts cartoon, and Lucy came up to him and she said, "I'm really, really, really sorry. I'm sorry I missed that easy fly. But while I was standing there, suddenly I remembered all the other times that I had missed. And the past just got in my eyes." Oh, how many times has the past gotten in our eyes that we couldn't be mindful of what was actually going on then in our lives, or even now at this microsecond? And so I'd like to ask us, what kind of a legacy are we going to be leaving? Yes, indeed. When we're not here anymore, what kind of a quality are people that are still there going to remember about us? So what are you leaving as a legacy? What am I leaving as a legacy? What are we leaving as a legacy? And that's what Joan Chittister asks us. She's a Benedictine nun. So today we're going to be talking about being mindful of what's going on right now so that we can embrace our wholeness. Yes, indeed. And what I noticed that we're going to begin right today to celebrate what we call the season of light, where all different religions and philosophies celebrate at this time the light, the symbol of the divine presence. Yes, indeed. Did you know that today is the first day of Advent? Advent is the 4 Sundays in December leading up to the celebration of the birth of Christ. And today's theme for the first Sunday in Advent is grace. What a wonderful, wonderful theme, grace. And so today we are supposed to set aside time in our lives to actually take stock of ourselves, to take inventory. Where have we heard that before? You know, like if you're a store owner or something, you take an audit and you take an inventory of everything you have. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking inventory. And so when I'm researching Advent, I realize, and we all realize, that when Mary and Joseph were riding into Jerusalem and they looked for a place to stay, every time they went to a place, they heard the same thing: there's no room at the inn. And so when I was researching this, I found an inn where there's always room. And you know what the name of it is? Manger 6. And this is how the ad went for Manger 6. "Hi, this is Tom Bodette for Manger 6. We know that you have been traveling a lot this holiday season, and you've probably heard over and over that there's no room at the inn. Well, that's not the case here at Manger 6. Why, for just 29 drachma, we'll put you up in a warm, comfortable stable where there's plenty of fresh milk for the newborn. There's even individual stalls for your mules, for your camels, or whatever you have to be driving across the desert. And in case unexpected visitors show up, such as shepherds, wise men, Holy Ghosts, it's not a problem here at Manger 6. There are plenty of frankincense and myrrh to go around. So this is Tom Bodette for Manger 6, reminding you there's always room in this inn. We'll even keep a star out for you." Another holiday which is coming this week, another holiday celebrating the light, is Hanukkah. You probably know the story of Hanukkah, where In ancient days, there was a king named Antiochus, and he didn't like the way the Jews were worshiping according to the Torah. So what he did was he sent a bunch of soldiers to, quote, encourage the Jews to change their ways of worship. And so there was a very heroic young guy. His name was Judah Maccabee, and he had a small army of his own, and he fought valiantly and diligently and finally got Antiochus's soldiers out of the way so they could all return to the temple for the second time and clean it out and get it ready for worship. And as they were in the temple, he asked them, please look and see if there's any containers of oil that we can use in the menorah. What's a menorah? This is what a menorah is. Isn't it gorgeous? It has room for 8 candles plus a shamash, the one that lights it. And so the men were looking and looking for containers, and they go, oh my God, Judah, we found 1 container. That's all we found. And he said, great, go ahead and use that to light. And what happened was, instead of the light just lasting for 1 day, it lasted for 8 days. And that's why we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. And we love it because we celebrate and get 8 presents, and we play with the dreidel, which is a wonderful top that is used for Hanukkah. And believe it or not, there's another holy day celebrating light this week also. It's called Bodhi Day, and it happens on December 8th. Bodhi Day celebrates when Buddha became enlightened. And you know what Buddha said? He said, nothing ever exists alone. Everything is in relation to everything else. Wow, what a great season later on in the month we'll have Kwanzaa and wonderful other celebrations of light, because we are the image and likeness of God. We are the light. And let's see what old Ernie has to say about it. Ernest Holmes, our founder, loves to talk about integration, unifying ourselves with a divine or higher spiritual consciousness. And so what he says, he believed in the power of thought and the importance of aligning ourselves, our consciousness, with these spiritual principles. It isn't just accepting various aspects of ourselves. It's also about aligning with these great spiritual truths to live a life of purpose, love, and abundance. It involves consciously integrating spiritual principles with our daily life, allowing for personal growth and deep connection with the divine. Wholeness is not a place where there is no pain, no trouble, hard work. It means to be in the midst of all of life's challenges and still remember that you are complete. Wholeness, as Holmes, does not mean perfection. It means embracing all parts of ourselves as an integral part of life. In fact, did you know that you are in charge of your own life? You are the CSO of your own life. Jenny Hancock calls God the CSO. Absolutely. The great spiritual leader of our life, our beautiful CSO. That's what we are. We are building our lives. How sweet that is, how wonderful that is. And so today I'm going to ask us, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. You know who said that? Marcus Aurelius, one of my super favorite guys, he says so many wise and beautiful things. So today we're going to focus on enhancing our deep mindfulness in this very microsecond. And so when we awaken, we're going to immediately give thanks for who we really, really are. And then this is something I want you to start doing today. I want you to start having a conversation with yourself. So, this is how I want you to do it. I want you to talk to your body, and I want you to say to your body, "Hello, beloved body. What do you need right now?" Talk to your body. "Hello, beloved body. What do you need right now? Do you need exercise? Do you need food? Do you need meditation? Do you need spiritual practice? Do you need to be more comfortable in the chair you're sitting in during the service right now?" Get into the habit of talking to your body and ask it, "Hello, beautiful body. What do you need right now?" And so while you're doing that during the day, I want you to start talking to your mind. Remember, body, mind, and spirit. "Hello, beautiful mind. What kind of mind food do you need today? What kind of mind food do you need today?" And I'd like to tell you about this fantastic therapist. His name is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and he is of Hungarian background. And what he says to us, you know what you need today? You need to be surprised in your life. Yes, indeed. You need to bring some surprise into your life. And that's what our mind is telling us. For example, when you're out, you might see a very unusual car parked and pull on the curb, pull over and look at that car. Maybe you've never seen one like that. Or when you're in the cafeteria, you might choose a new food that you've never eaten before. Or maybe you're listening to a colleague or a friend. Listen to them with your whole heart and don't just project onto them who you think they are, but who they really are. Give your whole self to listening. This one thing that so you can find out what really is and not what you think it is. Be open to what the world is telling you. Life is nothing more than like a stream or a river of experiences. And the more widely and deeply we swim in that river, the richer our life will be. So challenge yourself, says James Clear, to do something that you've never done before, out of your normal routine of life. What is one thing that you can do that's different from what you do on a normal week? And so I had an experience like that. My daughter emailed me that she and the family went to a safari in California where the animals roamed around. And Teresa, would you put up the slide of one of the animals that showed up? Isn't he adorable? This is an animal called an okapi, and I had never seen anything that cute and that adorable before. That animal is known as the forest giraffe, the Congolese giraffe, or the zebra giraffe. And it's a mammal. He's the mammal, and he's endemic to Northeast Africa, Central Africa in the Congo. He's 4 feet 11 inches tall, measured from the shoulder, and he's 8 feet and 2 inches long. He weighs 440 to 770 pounds. It has a long neck and large, flexible ears, which can twirl around and around so he can hear what's going on. He has a beautiful chocolate brown velvety coat, and he has short horn-like protuberances on his head. And also, he lives and eats vegetation off of high trees. And he eats leaves, he eats buds, he eats grasses, ferns, fruits, and fungi. He inhabits the forest at really high altitudes, from 1,600 to 4,000 feet in altitude. And this organization classifies him, the okapi, as endangered. And this organization was established to protect him. So this is what I want to ask of all of you looking at this adorable okapi. Let's give it a special name. Let's give him a special name. And when you think about this adorable okapi with these zebra stripes and white ankles, and a name comes to you, would you email it to me at rainbow@revrainbow.org, and I'll compile all the suggestions and we'll vote on it when we look at this darling, darling okapi. I'm reminding us. You can take the slide down now, even though I hate to see you go, you beautiful okapi. I'm reminding us that wholeness says Ernest Holmes, is a place not where there is no pain, trouble, or work. It means to be in the midst of all of life's challenges and remember that you are deeply, deeply spiritual whole. It means embracing all experiences as an integral part of life. So here is something else I want you to keep in mind when you're talking to your beautiful mind and your beautiful body. Avoid getting distracted. Yeah. Have you ever tried to meditate and all of a sudden monkey mind comes in and you get distracted and you forget what you're doing? That happened to a woman in Maine. One day she decided she wanted to have some ice cream. And so she went into an ice cream parlor like Baskin Robbins or something, and it was so empty. Nobody was in there except one guy sitting in the corner. And she did a double take because that guy happened to be Paul Newman. Oh no, she loved Paul Newman and his blue eyes. She was a big fan of him. And so she got distracted and discombobulated. And anyhow, she ordered her ice cream. And when she was paying for it, she dropped all the coins on the floor. Oh no. So she leaned over and picked up the coins. And she was so embarrassed, she just walked out of the ice cream parlor and she said to herself, my gosh, I forgot my ice cream. So she turned around and kind of buried her head a little, looking around for her ice cream, and she couldn't find it. And then a voice from the corner said, it's in your purse. Have you ever had that happen? Where are my glasses? Oh my goodness, I'm wearing them. Oh yes, well, we get distracted. So now avoid being distracted and ask yourself one more question. Ask your beautiful spirit. Hello, beautiful spirit. What are your inspirations for the day for me? And so one of the things the spirit is inspiring me with is something called God's pink love. What are you talking about, Reverend Rainbow? God's pink love. And so I was teaching a class, a practitioner class, and the daughter of one of the practitioners gave her some advice on something that was happening. This daughter had a conversation with an adversary, and it was so yucky. All of a sudden, the daughter was inspired to mentally and spiritually surround the whole situation and the adversary in God's pink love, in an energy of pink love, including herself. And then The next day, when she ran into this person, the call was never mentioned. They hugged, they smiled, they cracked jokes, and the whole thing was forgotten. I thought, this is an interesting piece of advice. And so after the class, I was putting things together and my phone rang. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats? It was somebody who was really upset with me. They were really complaining about something that I had done. And so I had equanimity listening to them, and I decided I'm going to try this. And so in my mind, I surrounded them, permeated them, and myself with God's pink love. And the next day, when I ran into them, wouldn't you know, everything was forgotten. We enjoyed one another, and the whole thing was totally, totally resolved. God's pink love. There's nothing which God's love cannot heal. There's no pain which God's love cannot soothe. There's no problem which God's love cannot solve. I allow this love to wash over me. I imagine myself immersed in it. I bathe in it. I float in it. I surrender to it. I am whole, and I use God's pink love whenever I'm inspired to do so. Well, thank you, Spirit. That was really cool. Do you have anything else you can advise me today? I remember Confucius says, if you're constantly in pain, seek out love. You will find that the pain has been cut in half or even more. And so when I was researching things, I came across something fascinating. You know what it was called? It's called the paradoxical commandment. And I wish I'd found it last month when we were talking about paradox. And I researched and thought, what is this paradoxical commandment? And I saw it was created by Kent M. Keith in 1968 when he was a freshman at Harvard. And it's always also has been attributed to Mother Teresa saying it because she had it on her wall in the orphanage where she was in India. And the text contains 10 commandments. And I would love you to experience these amazing commandments. Perhaps you remember a song that we've had during church service called Anyway by Martina McBride, where she set these commandments to music and attributed them to Mother Teresa, but oh no, it wasn't. And these are the commandments. People are illogical. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, some people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you'll win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. And the good you do today might be forgotten tomorrow, but again, do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank and vulnerable anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest ideas. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but often follow only top dogs. Fight for underdogs anyway. And what you spend your years building may be destroyed overnight, but brothers and sisters, build anyway. People really need help, but sometimes they may attack you even if you do help them. Help people anyway. And finally, give the world the best you have, and you might even get kicked in the teeth, but do your best anyway. Won't you please join me in the spiritual mind treatment for today? Yes, indeed. Here we are again. Here we are again with all of God present right here and right now. All of God is present in us, as us, and through us, expressing omniscience, omnipotence, and being omnipresent. And what I am speaking my word for today is that all of us remember that we are the light of the world today, embodying the world greatly needed light that we bring individually through us. And I know that we fully realize and embrace how loved we truly are by those around us, as well as that beautiful God's love and God's pink light. And may the peace that passes all understanding reside in our hearts in this season of light and forever live in us as our relationships are absolutely divinely loving, as we embody all this wonderful abundance of money, abundance of love, abundance of absolute beautiful harmony and compassion. And may this wonderful center for spiritual life grow and love, grow and express beautifully in God's love. I just love these words and release them into that beautiful universal law, which instantaneously manifests them. Even now, as I have been speaking, as together we say, and so it is, amen and amen.